My name is Nick, and I'm here with Kyle, and today we're breaking down the ending of His Dark Materials. Go to Instagram, follow Kyle, Pecos with a 0, but we're going to be doing our best to explain the ending here. Obviously, a lot of our views and opinions are coming from the book materials itself, but we're going to do our best to break it down. We've had a lot of comments, too, about it, so we're just going to explain it the best we can. Please comment down below, because it would lead to other video topics and deep dives that we can cover to maybe help explain this even more, but let's get into it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go, or do you want to go?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. So the end of the book, right? Dust is being reversed back into the world. It's no longer leaking, and it's like this stasis. But then Will and Lyra can't be together, and they're allowed to leave one hole open. But they both agree it's for the land of the dead, and they can't go to each other's world because they only can live for 10 years before they die. So that means they die at the age like 26 or something like that. So they don't get to live out their full life. And they go to their separate worlds. But now we had a lot of questions like, why? Like, why does this have to happen? Why couldn't they just make another hole and stuff like that? So we're going to break it down. And one of the major reasons is the hole itself. Kyle, what happens when you rip a hole through the multiverse?
When you rip a hole in the multiverse, basically it also opens up the space between the multiverses, which is the void. It is nothingness. It is true oblivion. Yeah. I think they even described it as such in the show, which is very apt because, it's like going to sleep having never remembered being awake. It's just, so basically, this is also where the specters come from.
Yeah,
they are the beings from this realm, the only beings as far as we know.
Yeah,
that's bad because as long as the rifts are open, you're going to have specters that are there, right? Consuming people's souls, right? You don't want that. So you got to close them.
Yep.
Right? Because we know that Will has the power to close the window. And as it was explained in the show, if the knife breaks, that would unlock the power to be done by other beings as well, like the angels and the witches and stuff like that. I know that wasn't exactly how it was in the book.
Yeah, but I don't know if
that's just how they wrapped it up.
I don't know if it would unlock the power. I just think they had to learn how to close it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's why Will has to teach the angels, and then they teach other angels how to close it, because it wasn't a device made by angels. So they were like, how does this work?
How does this crazy human technology work? Yeah.
And it's like finding the vibrations between, the worlds and shutting it closed and stuff like that.
And so also the reason Will had to break the knife is you don't want some person like
temptation,
in the past before Will, right? You don't want someone corrupt like going like, oh, right, I'm going to steal everything and cause more holes and create the whole problem all over again, right?
So the safest thing to do is to destroy it.
Right. And also the other thing about the void is that it also is like hungry. It's an empty space, and it sucks in all of the dust, right? And as we know, dust is the membrane of consciousness throughout all realities, right? And as long as there are living beings that are capable of conscious thought, there will be more dust that is produced, but it was happening at a faster rate than it could be produced, right? So eventually there would be no conscious thought or individuation across all the multiverse, right? Which is kind of like Darkseid's anti-life equation.
Yeah.
For all you comic book nerds there. But anyway.
And it also, too, it's not like one cut creates a specter, right? It's like specters could basically seep out from the void. So, even if they were to just cut one window and leave it open, that's just going to be an open hole for them to go in and out of the void and stuff. That's why Chitagatse was like surrounded by them, because that's where all the holes originated from. And that's why there were so many in that world. So what would happen too, so you can't just cut and open it, because that's just going to be creating it. And dust is so finite. And I think of specters like basically like dust. It's just more of a Dementor form. But even though we may not see the specters leaping out of it, they're seeping out into the world, kind of thing.
Right. So as Nick outlined, they have to leave at least the only window they can leave open is the window leading from the world of the dead to the Malefic world.
Yeah.
Because that is the only way that a human soul can be reunited with the universe. Otherwise, everyone who dies is a prisoner forever in the land of the dead. That is a nightmare, because if death is something where you have to undergo nothingness forever, that's a true nightmare. So, they need that means to have people find release in that sense, right?
And I think there's also an agreement too, like the angels will watch over that one hole kind of thing too, with the specters.
Yeah, there's like this whole sort of agreement amongst all the powers that be, and and then now, of course, because this is the only window, and we know that you slowly die after being in another world other than your own, right? And Will and Lyra decide, they realize they have to be in their separate worlds, because also sure, they could be they could be oh no, I'll stay with you until as long as I can, but they both love each other. They love each other enough for them to both want actualized lives for each other. Right? They want each other to live full lives,
because they know they'll spend forever with dust or in with matter.
Exactly. And that and that's how they rationalize it too, right? At the end, I will find you after death. That's a very romantic thing, right? This is that's a very, and also just the sense of the tragic lovers. Right? That's also a very powerful trope that we see sometimes. So and then then we see them at the bench and stuff, and that's their way of coping with that loss.
So that's basically what happens for Will and Lyra. We know Mary Malone goes back with Will, and we know that's good for Will and Mary, because they're the only two that will have demons that they can physically see, because Mary will learn how to do it. Obviously in the book, she only sees it by glimpses really quickly. She doesn't communicate or talk or anything like we saw on the show. But the show, it was nice because it's probably where it was going to go in the book. She was going to get to the point where she would see her demon 24/7. You know what I mean? She would learn that skill enough.
And what's cool is we know Lyra has this this group of characters that support her after Will is gone, right? We've got it's not Ruta Scotti, dang it.
Serafina Pekkala.
Thank you. She's got Serafina Pekkala, she's got Eirik Bjarnason, she's got the Egyptians. She has a whole network, right? Will, fortunately, has one person that's at least undergone a part of that journey with him, and that's Mary Malone. So they at least, and I think even in the ending of the books, they kind of check back in on each other, and they actually become friends and have correspondence and stuff. So,
which is huge. And then we got to talk about Will and Lyra's power set. So by the end of the book, they basically have the power of the witches, where they can separate from their demons through many worlds and lifetime, or not lifetimes, but many worlds in distance and yardage and miles, however you want to measure it. But they don't get the long life that the witches get.
Right.
So they have the ability to separate, but they don't have the. And I think there's even a moment too in the book where Lyra Pan's running pretty far away, and she's like, "No, you have to come back because we can't let people know we have this power. You still have to be close, kind of thing." But it's cool too because they kind of have their own independence from each other too, which is nice. They can live their separate lives, kind of thing. And one thing that's interesting too in the book, I know we're not talking about the end of the show, but I remember Pan never tells Lyra what happens with his adventures yet. Because remember when they separate, and he's like, one day I'm gonna tell you.
One day I'll tell you.
But it was one of those things in the books. It's a major cliffhanger in the books, which is cool because obviously we know there's more books that were written, and he's writing one more or something, along that line. So maybe we'll get those. I mean, that's going to be a crazy adventure because he went through multiple worlds. I think they even went to the Galavespian world and stuff like that too. And
from what I've read, he is finishing the third book of the new trilogy. That's the continuation. So
super exciting. Can you think of anything else, Kyle? Oh, another difference. This is a difference. It's not explaining the ending, but so the Egyptians are actually supposed to be there at the end of the story. They come in on a boat. They have a huge feast with the Mulefa and stuff like that. So that wasn't explained. And it also wasn't explained too that the Mulefa was willing to watch over the portal for the land of the dead. That was just kind of glossed over. And then another thing too that was kind of very much glossed over was tell stories. That's one of the major themes because John Perry told Will and Lyra they have to create the new heaven where they're at. or
The
something like that.
Republic of Heaven. Yeah.
The Republic of Heaven to tell the true stories, and so that's part of the reasons why they needed to be separated too, so they can build the new Republic of Heaven.
And it's a powerful message. It's like only humans are able to create heaven on earth.
Yeah.
That's the only way, but it's a tough thing to do, you know?
So that's basically it. There's probably other themes that we can go into, but that's basically the ending explained. And that's also basically why Will and Lyra can't be together. we gotta hit both topics in this video. Go to Instagram to follow Kyle Pecos with a 0. He's a super talented artist. He creates a lot of the artwork here, and yeah, he's amazing. Go over there and just tell him how much we love him here at AsArt. Just be like, Kyle, they love you so much at AsArt. Anyways, we'll see you on the next AsArt.